Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Hopefully your Sunday is going well and your weekend went good. They go by way too fast, you know what I'm saying? What I would like to talk to you today about, because it's been a minute since I jumped on, you have heard me talk much about anxiety and depression and how debilitating that can be at times. But the one thing that some people know, some people don't, is that I am bipolar, and bipolar can be very rough. Unfortunately, it is a chronic illness, and it took me, I was diagnosed 14 years ago, probably had it my entire life, but I did not know that until something kind of traumatic happened to me in my adult life. So I finally decided something isn't right here, looking back at my childhood and how I dealt with things because I was forced to. So I kind of want to educate a little bit. I think that a lot of times there's so much, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and there's a lot of self-diagnosis going on out there, but you can't really self-diagnose that. You can think, oh, I have that, or this happens to me, but there are things with bipolar, for example, mania, which is what I'm going to talk about. We all get a little manic at times, which is just maybe not enough sleep, too much caffeine, just too much going on at once in life. And then it calms down and you sort of feel, back at yourself. But with bipolar, it can just come on like that. And many times for me, it is triggered by something. And currently right now, it's triggered by just a lot going on at once. Some positive, some negative, and I usually kind of feel like when it's about to come, it's coming. And so I can't really stop it, but I can try my best to keep it at bay, but it's in my genetics, I guess. And so this time I thought it was coming on, but I didn't really want to admit it and kind of buried it. And the reason why I'm talking about it now is because I have this vision and this goal of where my life is going, and it can get there. And it's not really crazy, like I'm going to be the next president of the United States, or I'm going to write a novel in 2 days, because, this creative writing thing has been wonderful. I love it. I have so much fun with it. I'm pretty good at it. And it's probably because I'm just such an emotional person, such a positive person, and I usually see the good in everything and everyone, or try to see if remember that if people are always going through something and you just never know. So anytime I'm in the grocery store or something, I always, if I make eye contact, I always smile and say hi, and if they don't back, that's okay. So I bring this up now because one of the things you have to focus on is having basically like a support group and people in your life that are trusted and that you love and that you can share this with, because bipolar is a stigma. Well, all mental illnesses, but bipolar definitely is, because people just are not educated. And why educate yourself if maybe you're not around it, right? You hear it and you just hear the negative things like, oh my God, she's gonna get mad and run me over with her car. She's gonna freak out at any time. I am actually not one that's gotten angry. I'm not wound that way to get really angry, and never have been. And so it's not so much that, it's just more of the, I guess, we'll just get into it. I talk a lot. I talk really fast. And this includes text, and I'm on top of the world, and I'm going to do all of these things all at once, and I can't sleep. And then I still have tons of energy, and my energy level is up here, and I feel like I drank 5 cups of coffee, and I am just like zoop, 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 going crazy, and this thought's over here, and that thought's over here, and this thought, and it seems normal at the time. And let me tell you, that high, yeah, it feels real good, okay? I'm not gonna lie. It's euphoric, and it's fun. I hate to say it. And then, you're kind of full of yourself. You talk about yourself a lot, like you're this amazing person. And don't get me wrong, love all of the things about you, but be true to yourself. Or none of us are perfect, and we all have, things that we excel at and that we're good at. I mean, that's okay. And then there is the spending too much money, the impulse controls, maybe spending too much money, drinking too much, overly obsessing about things, and then thinking you can actually do it when you really just can't. And, you're more reckless, whatever that might look like. My recklessness, unfortunately, years ago was too much sexual activity. And actually, it put myself in pretty dangerous situations. And I tried to bury that, but I also keep it above right here to remember that it's not good. And I'm definitely not there at all. I'm an adult, and I look back and think, oh God. And so, with that, the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is because there has been 2 people that have entered my life. One was a couple of years ago, and this person was somebody that I adored and looked up to and respected so much that I was always obsessing on how she felt about me. And so, and to live to her standards, even though we're just 2 different people. And she always looked at me as somebody that she became friends with because there's things about me that she liked. So when I was kind of having a spinning moment, which I can't remember if it was triggered or not, probably it was during a pretty traumatic breakup, not breaking up, that kind of a thing. That was a pretty tough relationship. I think we had coffee or something, and I finally told her, this is what I have. And, I am telling you because, if you notice something, you can either tell me or just sort of keep it in your mind. She might be in this state. Or if you think it's bad and you're actually nervous, please let me know, kind of thing. And she's somebody that I turn to in comfort when I'm feeling anxious. Like recently, I just said, hey, can you grab a cup of coffee with me? And then just talked about the things I was worried about and things I was anxious about. And, I wanted her to encourage me to go to the gym in the mornings because that was something that I need, just to help with sleep and because it just feels good. And so, once I said that, it was like no look on her face, no weirdness. It was just like, oh, okay, well, that's just kind of, I guess, okay. That basically was it, and there was also concern, but just not in a she's freaking me out type thing. And so there's that. Those things happen in mania. Well, bipolar also is manic depressive is another word for it. So when you're on that high, that crash is gonna come, and the crash is awful. So usually what happens with that is, first thing you do is you feel embarrassed by the things that you might have done. For me, impulse is overly texting or interrupting people or forgetting what somebody told me because I was so focused on me, right? And I'm typically not that way. And then, I'm feeling very tired and just want to lay in bed all day, which I have done before. And feeling just numb or just feeling so depressed, walking to the kitchen for a glass of water was actually painful. And so, this happened to me recently, and there's another impulse control, which is kind of why another trigger here is that I, met somebody 6 months ago or so, and very special person to me, very deeply connected, very, drawn to each other, just 2 people that are supposed to be in each other's lives. And this is for one reason. I had a very deep conversation with this person about 2 things that I don't talk about, but they're with me, and I don't talk about it because people either get uncomfortable or it's kind of like, well, just move on from it, or they don't know really how to engage, and that's okay too. And for some reason, I just kind of said it, and this person, gave me so much good feedback and so much support, and just was very detailed in their feelings about it, but also no judgment. And then I thought, oh my God, this is a comfort level. This is somebody that I have to keep in my life, because I had never felt so relaxed after this conversation, because it was almost like it was off of my chest. And so during this phase of mania recently, I was impulsively texting and texting and like a play by play of my life. I think because the person is so new, that I wanted to show that I'm this amazing person and I'm on top of the world, and, wanting to be perfect, and thinking I am perfect, but actually deep down inside wanting to show that I'm perfect. But this person is not a judgmental person, not shallow at all, raised by a very good family, clearly. And so once I realized that I was crashing, I felt this wave of complete embarrassment, and there really was no need to. This person had told me over and over, like, it's okay, I'm not going anywhere, I'm your friend, or, I'm there, it's okay, why are you freaking out, and then it became like I'm sure it was just too much, because I have not shared this before. And so the things that were happening, like I said, I was feeling very tired, still a little tired now, feeling very anxious. My brother, who's one of my biggest fans, he wanted me to do something with him yesterday and today. And one, because he loves to hang out. We love to hang out with each other. And two, because he's checking in. That's his way of being like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. But you get this overwhelming feeling of, I can't go anywhere, I can't be around people, I don't think I can enjoy this experience. And I want it to be true to him and to myself. So I decided, I go to my parents' house every weekend, and, sidebar, you guys know about my dog, who this idiot, she's a PTSD trained dog, and he left her because a girl didn't want her. That's a whole other story, but she was brought to me, and just seeing her in my rearview mirror running towards my car when I pulled in, and she's a little chunk of monk, so that was actually kind of funny and cute at the same time, already started to lift my spirits a little bit. Not completely, but it started to help. And she stuck by my side the entire weekend and knew exactly what to do. So I have to appreciate that as well. And so for the things, and I have been hospitalized twice. One time it actually almost killed me, but it wasn't my time. But it literally, I woke up intubated, and my heart had to be restarted twice. And I remember thinking, I didn't see a white light. And so that's because God had decided, no. And so, that happens to people. They do become hospitalized, and it's not always detrimental, but it can be. And at that time, I thought that I wanted it to be detrimental, and I was in a terrible place. I was drinking a ton. I worked at this place that was extremely toxic. They were drinking during the day. I had somebody harassing me, and I didn't say anything, and it was pretty rough. And so after that, it kind of woke me up, because it devastated my family and my friends, and it something that I saw, these people that love me so much, like almost like, how dare I, right? And so I started to open up more about depression, and people hover around me sometimes, not so much now, but at the time they hovered around me almost like too much, overwhelming me. But I get it, I completely get it. So I started trying to educate myself a lot more, whether it's reading a book, listening to an Audible, or going to groups, which is kind of hard, because you got to take the time to do that, which could be an excuse. But there's so much out there. There's true YouTube videos, and follow people going through the same thing. And it's important to find whatever that looks like for you, to feel comfortable in what you're going through and who you are, because unfortunately you are going to live with this probably for the rest of your life. And you can say that sucks, but you can also say that okay, this is what it is. What do I do? So I try to recognize that it's coming, and I try to say, okay, what can I do? Sometimes I know I'm not going to be able to keep this at bay, right? So the one thing or the two things that I was able to kind of, all right, grasp it, like embrace this, okay? This is happening, but you're going to do everything you can to try to stop it if you can. And it might be a slow process. So one was not drinking coffee because, caffeine can make you a little anxious. Really watching what I'm eating. And because that can be something that you do too, is you just, eat a bunch of sugar for some reason is a thing. And okay, you got to prepare for the down. So for example, yesterday, I'm starting to come down, Friday. So I thought, okay, how do I get out of my head? Because I was so obsessed with the fact that I felt like I was obsessingly texting this person. And like I said, this person is important to keep in my life, and especially with things that I go through. And, maybe this person's been through a lot I don't know yet, and it just is very understanding. I'm not sure how to explain it. But, so the one thing that I did is Friday night, unfortunately, I could not sleep. So I was late on an assignment, and so I jumped in there and I just dove into it, and I made sure when I was reading it, it was realistic and I wasn't pumping myself up. So it took quite a while because I wanted to make sure that it was true and real and authentic to my true self, and it just felt good. So I'm like, okay, this is something that you have to stick to. And so when I finally did fall asleep, I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm going to just sleep all day. I'm going to stay in bed. And I thought, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to get your ass up and you're just going to run the 2 errands that you were running for yourself and your parents, right? And you're going to get dressed and you're going to put on at least, or take a shower, get dressed, put on at least part of your makeup. It doesn't have to be the full routine, but do that. Get in your car and put on your favorite songs, music, playlist, whatever it is, and just stay focused. And the other thing, focus on your driving, because the other thing is that when I'm driving, I'm not, everybody says I drive like a grandma, not when I'm manic. So I just got a new car, and I also don't want to die or kill anybody else. So I just, went back to my grandma ways, make fun of me, I don't care. And so even just the littlest things like that. Of course, I'm on medication, and there was a time when I was like, I don't need medication, I'll just stop it. And therapy, I've been in therapy for years. For a while, I stopped that. My therapist recently retired, so I'm in the process of finding the right match, which can be daunting in itself. And, I just make sure you take a walk. It was beautiful this weekend, so sit outside a little bit. Things like that, because it's not just the medications, it's not just the doctors. You have to cope with it yourself as well to be a healthy person. And like I said, this particular one, I do believe, was triggered by stresses, one particular major stress, but it's not going to be a lifetime stress, and I'm trying to find a way to manage that realistically, and whatever that might look like. And this particular type of stress, people are saying, don't let it get to you. Well, it's not that simple. It's definitely not that simple. There's a lot of deeper things going on that I don't always talk about because I'm looking out for me. So there's no point, because people are going to tell you, what to do and how to do it. And it's definitely there because they care. And so the other part of it is, I will say, if you know someone that is bipolar, the things that I have to say that you don't want to do, or these are my, will make my skin crawl, is you don't want to say, did you take your medication? You don't want to say, you're spinning. That one, I cannot tell you how much I just literally want to crawl out of my body. I don't know why, but that is one that I cannot stand. Duh, I know I'm spitting. call your doctor, call your therapist. Okay, I know, okay? And maybe they say these things because I wasn't doing it before. Or I think there is just that level of being uncomfortable and just really not knowing how to deal with it. And that's okay too. It's probably better that they, just say, I don't know what to say, or, that kind of a thing. Or maybe call somebody else that they know that can maybe be a better help. Whatever that is. But the best thing to probably do is those trusted people that you have opened up, and those people that, you feel a little more comfortable, because it's a very vulnerable state to be in. And when you're coming down, you're not so vulnerable when you're manic. And so I just, I can't change this, but I can make sure I'm always paying attention to triggers. Now, every day is a fight. I have no interest in hurting myself or leaving this earth. Those days are absolutely gone. I do love myself, but I try to practice self-care. I do think that I have abilities. I do think that I have things to offer, a story to tell. I don't think I'm going to be this, big person at my company or any company because of this. And not everybody's like that, but it's also a personality thing. So I take what I do know how to do and be the best at it, and maybe excel in little other areas that do fit my personality and do fit who I am, that will help the company. Because anywhere you work, we're a team, and every part of that is important. All of it. Whether you're cleaning the office, whether you're answering the phones, whether you're the chief financial officer, you're the admin, you're whatever, you're the HR. That's real important. And whatever, that we all work together. And I don't look at anybody any different. Of course, there's the people that are higher and all of that stuff. And anyway, you know what I'm saying. And so I think that you recognize who you are in general as a person, but then also remember that this illness that you have is also going to slow you down. And that's okay, because I've actually lost jobs before from being so manic. And then, that was a time when I was being very reckless and thinking I could do all these things, and I really couldn't, and then arguing about it or getting mad. And, that's also probably a maturity. And so, I can look back, and sometimes I used to get really embarrassed, and now it's kind of like, well, pick yourself up and remember that this is why, and just don't do it again. And so that's why I know I'm in a really good place, because I do know that that's who I was. I don't know, immaturity, like I said. And so I just don't beat myself up about it. Yes, I am very hard on myself. Most of you do know that. Extremely hard on myself. And I don't know. That could be just a personality thing. That could be a childhood thing. I don't know. Or a combination of things. But I still try to look at myself in the mirror and think, oh, she's cute. You're cute. Or, oh, you look nice today. Or it's going to be a good day. Or, whatever. And it's okay to have a bad day, because we all do. Because you're not perfect. And that's the thing, is I'm always trying to be perfect and show that I'm this perfect person, and I'm not a perfect person. And so I just encourage you, one, to find your hobbies and your niche and stick to them, and don't go anything above and beyond that. Pull yourself up out of bed every single day. Get plenty of sleep. If you have to take a melatonin, or, turn off your TV, because it's hard for me to do that. Read. I know reading, if you don't read, it's really hard to start. But, something, once you start though, and you find something you really like, even if it's trash, trashy, whatever, reading can make you tired. And, just find something, like I said, take some melatonin, or, don't eat a big meal, all those normal things. And also, people tell you, oh, eat healthy, pray. That's not how this works. Yes, eating healthy helps. Absolutely. But that's not how this works. And so, exercise, yes, of course, that's important all over the place, but that's not the answer either. The last thing I will say that I think is really important is I'm very rigid in my schedule. Very rigid. on everything that I do on a daily basis. And if I'm going to go off of my schedule a little bit, meeting somebody for dinner or, whatever that thing might be, I have that planned. I know ahead of time. And so, staying extremely rigid on everything that you do, every routine, from washing my face in the morning to washing my face at night, brushing my teeth, all of the things that I do are exactly the same. The nights I choose to write, I've been, doing Monate, but I had to put that on hold right now because I don't have the mental capacity. But even that, the days that I'm going to do certain things, when I'm going to jump online and talk, because I know that this mental health thing has been something that people have been reaching out to me and kind of inspired, because like I said, it's got such a big stigma. And it's important that you stay as much as you can in your schedule. Schedules are extremely important with this. I mean, extremely important. And it just keeps you leveled and, and stabilized. And that's where you want to try to be as much as you can. Mania can last for, hypomania usually only lasts about a week or so. Mania can last for weeks, up to months even. Thank God I haven't been that way in a very long time, but that's because I have accepted this, that I have this. And I try to capture it as quick as I can. So rigid in your schedule, find a couple people you can talk to, spend some time with family, truly try to eat healthy, try not to binge or anything like that, because it just makes you feel like crap once you do come down. And when you come down, yes, get some sleep if you can, but don't lay in bed all day. Don't put yourself in a dark room. Just do something that you really like, but keep it small. Don't make it big, because then you're back to the grandiose, and then you're going to take a step back and unfortunately try really hard not to drink coffee. Definitely don't drink an energy drink. That would be my suggestion, because when you're manic, you're also shaky, and then you add the caffeine. And so I'm just here to help you, because like I said, I've been hospitalized, and it can be a very dark place, and it can be very scary. And because, again, I can't say enough, the stigma makes it really hard for people to open up about it. And so please talk to somebody. Please take your medications. Please talk to a therapist. I know that can be really scary, but you can interview them, basically. Talk to a trusted friend, a trusted family member, but educate them as much as you can. Explain it to them. Maybe give them a book or print some things online so they can understand, because it is scary for them too, and they don't know what to do. Or they think, oh, it'll go away. But like I said, unfortunately, it does not go away. So I know that this is really long, but I think it's really important, because I am, actually myself trying to join groups where I actually get involved and lead a little bit more, because it took me a long time, and because I did so many reckless things and almost died. And I did so many things that could have made me in a different place than I am right now, and that's not a good thing. And there's also things that I could be in a different place. I wish I was in a different place, but I'm not. So what do I do to get there, or at least realistically in a realistic place that suits my life and suits me and who I am? So that's all I really have to say. And thank you for listening, and I'm here for you. And this includes depression, this includes anxiety. When you talk to me, it's nothing that I feel like I'm taking on. I truly want to help you. Or if you know somebody else that you're around, that you know it for sure that they have it, and you don't know what to do, please feel free to reach out. Don't diagnose anybody. Don't take what I'm saying as a sure thing. But you can encourage them in some form. You know the person in some form that you're concerned, and that maybe you can explain why you're concerned, and don't expect a super positive reaction, but you are you're planting the foundation. And so that would be one of my suggestions. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking about 15 years, 14 years of experience, and possibly even before that, because I could get into all kinds of childhood reasons. But that is my rant. I don't even think it's a rant. That's just my speech regarding this. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend. And again, thank you so much for listening, and remember that I am here for you, because I am starting to level out. Let's see how tomorrow goes, but I am definitely starting to level out. So have a great weekend.